Hi, my name is Gretchen Ashodi-Pay, and I'm the founder of Co-Teach. Co-Teach is an organization that is passionate about making sure that parents and caregivers have everything that they need in order to feel clear, confident, and supported when it comes to nurturing their learner, their scholar, their child. And so with parent-teacher conferences right around the corner, I wanted to share a couple of things that will hopefully make this year's conferences more effective and better than ever. So let's get started. I have been on both sides of the table when it comes to parent-teacher conferences, both as the teacher and as a mom. And I have been a part of and unfortunately facilitated some very ineffective conferences. And then I've also been a part of and facilitated some very effective conferences. I don't want us to have to rehash some bad memories about ineffective conferences. So I'll skip straight to the good part and to the part that we're trying to create this year, which are effective conferences. Effective conferences have a couple of things in common in my experience. Those conferences allow an opportunity to get to know each other as an educator and as a parent. They allow for space to form a connection and to build rapport. And those conferences are also very specific and focused on building on a child's strengths, as well as being thoughtful about how to address areas of concern and areas of difficulty for a child. So in order to have an effective conference, the foundation of it has to be an attitude of partnership. And partnership begins with our mindsets. One thing that we have to do as parents and caregivers is remind ourselves of how important our insights and our experiences are. We are experts on our children. You are an expert on your child, and your insights, your experiences, your history with your child, everything you know about them is invaluable to your child's teacher. A teacher's job is enormous. There are so many aspects to what a teacher does. But one thing that a teacher does is that they take your insights, your experiences, your expertise, and they combine it with their insights and their expertise and their content knowledge and their teaching knowledge, and they use it in the classroom to deliver a very personal and a very customized experience for your scholar. So the more your teacher knows about your family and you and your child, the more when they're in class, they can tailor what they're doing to best fit the needs of your student. So that's why it's really so important that you know and you feel confident and you feel sure that when you go to the conference this year, it's really important that you share as much as you can with your child's teacher so they can use that information in order to best meet the needs of your scholar. So what would that look like? That would look like just taking a couple of minutes before the conference to reflect on some key things that you want to make sure that you share with your child's teacher. That could be anywhere from your favorite things about your child, or some things you've noticed about their behavior or their approach to learning in the past couple of weeks or months. It could also be about expertise that you have or that people in your family have that you might think could enhance some of the learning that's going on in class. Really anything that comes to your mind that you think is important to you or important to maybe your child's learning, those are the things that you want to make sure that you share with your child's teacher. Fortunately, you don't have to imagine what this looks like. We have two of your PTO leaders, Miss Alicia Holmes and Miss Shaniqua Brown. And this is them reflecting on their children and some things that they wanted to make sure that they shared with their child's teacher.
My name is Shaniqua Brown. I'm the current PTO president. My daughter's name is Avery. She's in the second grade. She loves to read and write, and she loves learning new things in math. She can't wait to start her timetables. I applied to REACT because I had heard so many good things about it from my brother, who had a daughter and son that also went there. And they would come home and try to teach me things in Mandarin that they would get frustrated with me with. And so I decided to apply. We were on a waiting list, not more than 30, less than 30 days later. We received an email saying that we were accepted, and we've been a part of the REACT community ever since. For me, overall, it's about the stability and the security that I get in the academic excellence with REACT. She went to Head Start beforehand, and so I didn't want her to regress in any way. And she seemed to be continuing to thrive.
My son Carmichael, he's in 602, just entered middle school. Woo, he's excited. Tends to be a little bit shy, a little bit more on the introverted side. Like myself, I'll initially come across very quiet, but there's a lot behind that quiet. So, for any teacher that has him in their class, they'll think that he's a child that doesn't really speak. So I've had to encourage him and say, you want to, once you show up, you want to be seen and you want to be heard. So try to just, this counts in terms of your overall class grade and participation. So do your best to just raise your hand and just have something to say. And so I've been pushing him and encouraging him to, come out a little bit more out of his shell. I've seen that sometimes he's a child that tends to be misunderstood. He will sit when he's about to start a test and he thinks for a while and he sits there frozen, just trying to get his thoughts together. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't care, or it's just children are different personalities. They perform at different levels. So he's a little bit slower getting started, but he has a lot of ideas, and and he wants to learn. What I've seen he's been in Rochdale since fourth grade. He's now in sixth, and I am pleased just with his development, that I've seen that the way he thinks, the way he speaks, it's all a part of all the training and the ELA and everything that's been happening, at Rochdale. So I've been happy with that. A thing of, something that I feel is very special about him is that he's able to read extremely quickly. He has a natural gift for speed reading. The downside to that is the comprehension. He may not be paying as much attention. You'll ask him what he read, and sometimes he doesn't really remember. So those are the skill sets I want to see him continue to get better at, comprehension, and I want to be able to see him go on, complete charter school, complete Rochdale, complete high school, complete college, just have a set foundation where he is not a part of the statistics. He graduated, right? So those are my hopes and dreams for him, that he can have a life with a lot more opportunities and a lot of choices.
Just 5 minutes of reflection will help you feel more prepared. You'll be able to hear the teachers report about what's been going on in class, as well as meaningfully contribute to some next steps in your child's education. So, just to summarize everything, when it comes to preparing for your child's conference, everything begins with mindset. You're so, so important. So take a couple of minutes to think about what you would like to share with your child's teacher, so that you will walk into the conference not as a spectator or maybe even a client, but as a partner.